Now, first of all, I got to ask you about this phone and the thinking behind it. How much do you think a phone like this will actually revive sales?
Well, we obviously are very bullish about the phone. So if you think about BlackBerry has been building great phones for a long time. The claim to fame has been security and privacy, kind of like a big major tentpole for us. You know, the thing that has always hurt us is lack of an application ecosystem support. So in working with Google and being able to put our BlackBerry know-how into the latest operating system there, you know, should appeal to a lot of people, especially professionals and more high-end consumer.
All right, you shipped 800,000 phones this quarter. This, of course, with the BlackBerry operating system. But what kind of numbers are you mapping out for this Android phone? What do you think you can get?
I didn't provide any of those informations. Well, first of all, the reason why we put this out today, normally I'm going to wait till when we launch it, probably a month away from now. But it's leaking everywhere, you know, and I'm obviously have to, you know, get my arms around that. So because it's leaking, I thought it would be a good thing for the market to know that we indeed are doing that. And so a lot of the details I haven't really disclosed yet. But over time, we will start disclosing. I doubt very much we're going to tell people how many, you know, phones that we're going to sell. But I'm sure that over the time, the market will give you some intelligence there.
Well, John, we appreciate you giving us the details because I know I've been asking you about this for a long time now. Now, if your high security customers embrace the Android phone, would you be convinced to stop selling, you know, the BlackBerry operating system phones? What would it take to do that?
Oh, that's a great question. So first off, the BlackBerry 10 phone is still the most secure phone in the market. We have a lot of very high-end government users on that. We pledge to continue support of that. We actually have a new releases coming out in March of next year, a software release that provide yet another level of security certification. So the government and the very regulated industry customers will be taken care of. Now, we will continue to develop security for the Android space, and there will be a time that the customer will say, okay, well, that I could accept or that I could certify, then we'll switch them over. But there is no particular timeline because we're comfortable on supporting the software updates on BlackBerry 10.
Now, John, we have to talk about revenue because you said it wouldn't fall below $500 million, and this quarter it came up short. How much lower can it go, or is this bottom? When does it ramp back up?
I made a statement today in the earnings call that I expect Q3 to uptick from the Q2 volume and Q4 to uptick from Q3. So you could call it a bottom, you could call it whatever, but that's what we expect to do. So we should see some uptick in the next 2 quarters.
You know, John, you're really bullish about the potential for BlackBerry software, BlackBerry in cars, and I want to talk to you about this because, you know, we saw with Volkswagen this week using software to deliberately cheat emission standards. Apple is reportedly pushing ahead on its own car. What role do you see for BlackBerry in cars going forward?
Car is a really big market because it's really about IoT, I mean, the Internet of Things. Car is kind of the first frontier of that. It interact with your phones and interact with your home Wi-Fi, and it obviously do anything from telematics to, you know, advanced driver assist to safety to controls and, you know, entertainment systems and so forth. So car is kind of all, you know, think about it as being a really big application itself. So a lot of people could make a lot of good business out of the connected car. We, of course, provide a lot of the basic operating systems environment into a car, Ford and Volkswagen, to name a few. We have about 250 brands around the world. So we think there's a good business there. We already do quite a bit of business there.
So how many cars does BlackBerry touch now, and what's the goal?
60 million is what the last count was. 60 on the road running around today. Well, I mean, there is really no upper limit to the goal. Car also is a replaceable item, and then we will get from cars to other things like truck tracking and medical devices and assets management. So it's a pretty big space. Even if it's just focused on transportation, it's a big space.